Alright, now we're going to look at something else about command line examples that I just found, because it might prove useful. You find that, where did I see it? Search. Command line examples right here. There are certain simpler ways to do things that I've never used before. I was just, testing to see if I should make videos on anything else, and I found this, command line examples. Now, if you find a section of help that you like, there's your contents, there's your index, there's your search, that just contains your last search item. But let's say you're in contents and right now I'm here. Alright? I want to select that as a favorite. That's like bookmarking. So I would select that here, except I've already done that. So let's go to shortcuts. And I'm going to select that as a favorite. See? And then it's down in the bottom, and then you click the word add. So now I've got two favorites, the examples, okay, which you click on display to get there. You can't just click on it, you have to click the display button. That's why I can't stand help files. They were designed by a drunk. Alright, so now we're at command line shortcuts, and here we're at command line examples. Now there are a couple things I want to show. You're going to have to look closely at the screen, because I can't make this text bigger. There's certain command line thing. The command line is right here. Alright, that's the command line. See, I right clicked to show you where I am. That's the command line. There are things you can type in that line that are quicker than using the menus. Alright, for example, you've seen this before, just Genesis 1:1, being able to display the text. If you wanted to search on a given text, you could just type the text you wanted there instead of using these boxes. I like the boxes better. Okay, but you could just type it in the command line instead, and your browse window will go immediately to that verse. Alright, and sometimes that's easier. I've done that too. Alright, so that's your first simple example of what you could do in order to just change where you are in the browse window. Instead of using this, you can just use the command line and type the verse you're looking for. And you've seen me do that in videos. Alright, you could also just type, except that they're not telling you all the story here. Like, let's say you wanted to find all the verses with the word Jesus in it. Alright, you can't just type Jesus here. Watch what happens. You have to put a period first. Okay, you can't just type Jesus, because it's going to think that's a book name. See? Can't find the book reference. So the help is that's a typographical error in the help. When you're searching on text, I haven't done search yet, but when you're searching on text, generally speaking, you type a period first. You can barely see that. And then if you wanted to search on Jesus, doesn't matter if it's upper or lowercase, then you type that. I'm not going to, and then you would hit return or click on it. Hit return probably. I'm not going to do that because I'm going to end up getting too many references. Alright? I just want to make sure that this doesn't bomb, because I have so many problems with the mouse hooks when I'm recording. Alright. So we don't want that, and I can't get rid. How do I get rid of that stupid box? I don't know how to get rid of that stupid box. I don't know what this box is doing here now. Good. I hit the escape key to get rid of it. Alright, but there's some more useful things. These are all examples of searches. Oh, the dot is there. You can't see it. The dot is there. You have to say dot first to search on Jesus. They do have it. It's not a typo in the help. It's just very small text. Alright, this is just showing you the different keys that you can press. But generally speaking, frankly, you just want the dot. Alright, now I show you other things, but really you almost never need to use them. Okay, so I'm going to skip that, but this is something that's useful. See, you have to look real close at the screen. I'm sorry, they won't let me increase the size of the text. I wonder if I can use the zoom thing. I got a zoom feature in this recording. It's not working. Okay, the zoom feature is not working while I'm recording, so we'll just have to forget that. Alright, see where it says the word display? I can't highlight it. So many there. Well, I can highlight it, but it isn't helpful. When you say display, that means display versions. So instead of changing, oh god, this is going bad. Oh, it's bombing on me. I'm going to have to quit. Remember when we went through all that business about display and search options? There's a simpler way to do it, but you can't save them. You can just type display or clear. Let me show you. If I say display all, this might hang up the machine, but it will display every single Bible version I've got installed. I'm hoping it's not going to bomb on me. It's going into busy because I've got like 6 Bible versions installed, so that probably wasn't a smart idea. Alright, so now I toggle off the analysis window, and you can see this is why I don't like morphology versions. You get all this junk, but sometimes you need it. I need it with the Peshitta. Not the Peshitta, but the Peshitta and the Targumim, because I have trouble reading the characters. Alright, so every single Bible version I have installed is now showing here for the verse in question. Alright, now you can get rid of that. Oh god, it's starting to go bad again. You can get rid of that. Display means what are you going to display? That's what are you going to display. Okay, display clear. Let me get this cursor out of the way. Display clear, and then let's say all you want is the WTT. Well, you have to put it in order. BHT, WTT, BGT, NAU. Then it's only going to display those 4 versions. BHT, WTT, and the command there is display clear. See? Now all of a sudden only those versions display. So that's a shorthand way of changing your versions to agree with something that you want on the fly. But you know that's when you really get used to the names. Alright, this is starting to bomb again, so I'm going to turn it off and come back. Okay, we'll try again. I was trying to show that we saw display that, and then after you type that, you're going to be saying what you want to display. Or you can say display clear, which means the clear command means you're going to clear what's on in the browse window there now. Alright, and then you're going to replace it with the versions you want. Okay, and then we also showed parallel, and then you next specify what are the versions that you want to be displayed in parallel in the order you want them displayed. The order you type is the order they'll display. Okay, we saw that. There's another command, and that's talking about search limits. Instead of having to go through search limits and click the boxes, blah blah blah, once you're familiar enough with the BibleWorks names, you can just type on the command line what you want. the keyword for setting limits is just the letter L, lowercase l. And you put a space, and then let's say you wanted to set your search limits from Matthew to Romans. Okay? And that sets your, oh, wait a minute. L, Matthew, you got to put a hyphen in there. See? Now, just to show that that's what happened, your search limits are checked Matthew to Romans in this verse range. This verse range, anything that's in this verse range overrides the check boxes, and your previous choices are down here, plus BibleWorks has a bunch of preset choices. Alright? This overrides all these check boxes here. So that's a simpler thing, you know, instead of having to use the check boxes. So we've seen display, display clear, parallel, and L for setting limits. Now, every time I click on the help file, I lose the video. So bear with me a second. I want to make sure I still have it. This is, if you were to, this is in your BibleWorks help shortcuts. Okay, which I've already defined as a favorite. You saw me do that. The L alone, if you just typed L all by itself, you would remove all search limits. So you would get an unlimited box. Alright? Or, well, I don't know if you get an unlimited box or you get no limits. Let's just type L on the line and then clear. Now let's see what happened to our search limits. Set search limits. Okay, yeah. When you just type L alone, that means you're selecting everything. It means the opposite of what you think it would mean. Again, this is a problem, you know, in help and in any kind of communication. What we think that it means when we write it as programmers is not what the user's going to think. Okay? So when you just type the L alone and it says removes all search limits, it means that there are no limits. Okay? Now, if instead of typing just L by itself, you wanted to just, you type anything after that, the thing that you type after that has got to be the Bible abbreviation that is known to BibleWorks, and it's going to limit it to that. Generally speaking, your Bible books, and there's a way to find out the abbreviations. You got tools, options. It's starting to bomb on me again. I can't get over this. This is so annoying. Okay, search window configuration options. That you can set your limits there. Okay. You can also set your search limits here. Alright, but see, that's the scroll box. Okay. And you can add a new predefined range if you were to click on this radio button, and then you describe the range here. But what we're looking for are the abbreviations. And so you do tools. Oh, it's locking on me. I'll have to come back. Okay, let's try it again. Alright, now we're doing tools, options, book names. Here we go. I never know why it works or it stops working. These are the book name abbreviations, so when you're typing on the command line, first of all, you've got these book names that are the defaults, which are usually the first 3 or 4 letters of the book name with a period or without the period. Without the period is obviously better. Okay? And then you can size the window to see more aliases. You can create your own aliases. Alright? You do not have to accept these preset defaults. But my suggestion is that you do accept them, because they're simple enough, for one thing, and for another thing, you're going to forget. You know, it's a pain in the neck to have to type in your own. It depends on how you use BibleWorks, whether or not. I used to type in my own aliases for the names of the books, But it just got to be a real pain because, you know, I'm on one machine because the BibleWorks license is per person, not per machine, and I've got a lot of machines because they always break down because Windows sucks. And so I'm always on one machine or another machine, or, you know, if I'm traveling or something like that. So it gets to be a pain to have to set up the same thing all the time. So I just started to learn to accept BibleWorks defaults, even though I hate them. You know, when you're a programmer and you're creating defaults, you're creating it from the standpoint of a programmer, and you've got a lot on your plate. But if you're a researcher, you got a different way of thinking. And so, you know, the program defaults usually aren't suitable. Anyway, so you can create your own aliases, but see here, this alias 1 is generally speaking the easiest one to use. So it's usually the first 3 or 4 letters of the book. Sorry it took me so long to say something so simple. Alright, so then you could say limits just by typing the L, and then you could say Genesis to Exodus. Oh, you have to put in the hyphen. Let me move the cursor. So you just type that, and then this is what makes the machine bomb, is when I click on it and it changes the versions. So I think what I'll do is I'll first save it and then I'll click on it and come. Okay, now I'm back. Now I'm going to click on it. Hopefully it won't bomb. And now I have limited my search to Genesis to Exodus. And if you check on the search limits, it didn't work. Well. Let's try it again. Limit Genesis, maybe I have to use caps, to Exodus. Maybe I have to use a D. Now we'll hit return. And now we'll see if it captured that. No, it didn't. Alright, so I don't know why it's not working. Let's try it again. Tools, options, maybe I typed the book names wrong. Okay, so we go over here. And of course they don't preserve it. They have too wide a space here, so you have to click on the division marker, hold your left finger on your left mouse click to narrow it. And that's when you see the double arrows, then you can widen or narrow when you're holding your left index finger down on your left mouse key. Alright. So I typed Genesis right, and I typed Exo right, so I don't know why it's not working. So maybe that's a bug. Limit Genesis Exo. Alright, and then I hit return, and that should have set up my limits, my search limits to Genesis to Exodus, but it's not showing up here. So then let's search on something that we know only that occurs in that range. So let's search on Moses, because Moses is in Exodus but not Genesis. Oh, that's because I didn't type the dot first. Type the period, then Moses. I shouldn't see anything beyond Exodus in my search results if it really accepted what I did versus what's showing on the screen. Of course, there are a lot of references to Moses. I should have picked a less common word. It's searching all the English language versions for Moses. And I get the busy signal, which is very annoying, and I get the stupid cross-version box. Why anybody would want that, I don't know. And I'm so afraid that I'm going to lose the video now, because it's gone into a system hang. Okay, and then now you widen your box, and let's see if I've got any references beyond Exodus. Because maybe what it does is it really limits the search, but it won't tell you that it limited the search. Okay, so it keeps on going through Exodus, because of course there are a lot of references to Moses in Exodus. takes forever to scroll down. And it looks like it limited it to Exodus. So what do we know? When you type in the limit in here, you type your L and then you specify your books, this being the example. It really does work, but you can't tell that it works until you do the search. It will not show up if you were to check whether or not it heard you through this. That search limit doesn't change, which is kind of nice, because then you don't have to recheck the boxes again. But on the other hand, to clear it, since you're using the command line, in order to stop that, the limits, you're going to have to clear it with the command line, just doing an L, because now you've eliminated your search limits. So that's that's the pro and the con of using that method. So that was basically what I wanted to say. I don't think I have any more to say about the shortcuts. Another way to find out the abbreviations, when you first click on BibleWorks Help at the beginning, the first entry in the index is abbreviations, and you got Bible version abbreviations, book name abbreviations, which now I can't, there we go, book name abbreviations. So that might be a faster way to find them, alright, than what I just showed you. And I think that's all I want to say for this section. I don't know of any more shortcuts that are particularly useful.